Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Strong Stoic podcast. I am your host, Brandon Tumblin. Before I introduce my guest, please allow me to thank my supporters on Patreon. If you would like to join there, please consider checking me out at Brandon Tumblin. There you can support me for $5 a month. You get early access to all the episodes, and you get to join the Patreon community there. Also, check out my articles on Medium and also the stoicgym.com, which is a free Stoic magazine by Chuck Chakropani, who's the chief editor. Had him on the podcast recently. And finally, consider checking me out on Telegram, where I have a group chat where we talk about the podcast episodes and even things like who we have for guests. So consider joining the group chat there. Today, I have the privilege of speaking with Quinn Everett. Quinn is a Team Canada Olympic weightlifter competing in the 109 kilogram plus weight class. So he's a heavyweight. He recently won gold in Canadian Nationals. That was just this past Sunday, which I think it's like around May 20th or so. I don't know the exact date. But this is actually his fourth time, I believe, in a row winning the Canadian Nationals. So I'm very proud to say that he's from my home province of Nova Scotia. So this talk was actually in person, which was kind of cool. In this episode, we discuss building good habits, mental strength, and fortitude, being a rebel, that rebellious mindset that allows you to succeed when you fail, and much, much more. I had a great time chatting with this guy, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Please welcome Quinn Everett. That's my intro music.
Yeah, I thought it sounded familiar.
It's actually that music. I get a lot of good comments on it. It's very primal, it's like really good beat to it. And
it reminds me actually of like old school Rome style, like Colosseum stuff, right? Yeah. Like it's something you would hear on Spartacus. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was going for, man. I was like, I want something that like you listen to and you just get pumped up with it, right? What kind of music do you listen to when you work out?
Man, I anything and everything.
Yeah.
I have a playlist that I call it, it's called Time to Pump. And I've just been adding to it forever. And it's, I don't know, it's got like 500 or 600 songs on it.
Yeah.
And it's I'm training and unapologetically listening to whatever I want playlist. It's got everything from like Tool, System of a Down, like Nina Simone. There's some rap on it. Like it's anything and everything. Techno, hardstyle, angry shit. It's anything and everything.
Do you ever get the mood to listen to like slower music when you're
yeah, well, like Nina Simone, for example.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What's the song? Feeling Good, right? There's that one. There's like Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers. There's stuff like that on it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I skip it. Sometimes I keep it on. It's just kind of like a good variety of songs that I like.
Yeah. I find that weird. I think if you're not a gym goer, you might think that that's something that's very unusual, but like every now and then, maybe like 10% of the time, I'll actually get the mood to listen to something really slow. Because normally it's like rap and rock, but every now and then I'm like, I want to chill out, enjoy some soul music.
I don't know if I'd call it really slow, but there was a phase there where Rolling in the Deep by Adele got me absolutely jacked.
Damn,
right?
man.
Yeah, like the first 30 to 45 seconds of it got me stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that type of music or song where you get like a build up. Mm-hmm. Oh god, and especially when it starts with like a drum beat.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Can't Stop.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of music. Or
they have a new album out now. Eh? Did you see
do they
that?
really?
Yeah, it came out like a month ago or something. My girlfriend and I just like stumbled upon it and listened to it one night. It's good.
Is it good? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's new music for an old band, like classic. Comeback album. That's like okay, but it's new.
What do you think about that? Like bands that you have to change at some point over time if you're around that long.
Yeah.
But they get a lot of people, like bands get a lot of hate for changing even somewhat their music, right?
Yeah. Well, even like rappers, like there's rappers that I loved. Childish Gambino is a perfect example. I love like pre-2015 Childish Gambino. Like some of my favorite music. Yeah. But then after that, I just like hate it.
Yeah.
Like his new stuff, his new few albums, like I can't even listen to it. It's not what I like about him, right?
Yeah.
But then there's people that are the complete opposite that are like, oh, I love the new Childish Gambino albums, like stuff or newer albums.
Right.
I think it's just like a preference. Like you get to a certain point where you feel like what they've done is overdone or they need to change something, and
Yeah.
They do. And then they get a new fan base, right?
I think what's worse is when bands try and hold on to that old sound, and then it just like it's obvious, and then they just start creating shit music, or it's like the same song they wrote about, you know. But some musicians get a lot deeper, like Eminem, for example. His recent music, he gets a bit of pushback for this. I mean, his audience is huge, right? Yeah. But his newer music is very deep. He's talking about that very thing, how like he needs to change and evolve. Yeah. And that he's going to lose fans because of it. But it's like he can't go back to the old Eminem, like, even if he wanted to. It's just, he's no longer that blonde-haired person, right? That person, like dyeing his hair.
And
blonde.
People grow up too, right? Like people, like if you think about, like, how old are you?
28.
28, yeah. So I'm 29. And if I think about, like, even 5 years ago, things I found interesting or funny, like, it's so different. Like, I was such a different person at, like, 22, 23, 24 than I am now, right? Yes. Like, and I feel like bands and music artists go through the same kind of like life cycle, right?
Do you ever wonder where you're going to be in 5 more years?
No, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Like my life's been like this so far, so
right.
I'm excited to keep going. You know what I mean?
I had a very weird moment when I was probably like 20, and I realized that things were kind of changing. I started having different perspectives on things. And I remember I was so excited. It's such a weird thing. I was so excited to be like, what's my perspective going to be like in 5 years? Like, I'm going to have a completely different perspective. And like, sure enough, I do. But you gotta let your view and perspective evolve over time. You know, like if you sometimes you try and suppress yourself for some reason, maybe because you want to keep your old friends, or, I mean, there's a million reasons why people don't want to grow up. But I think like it's all about, like, life is about evolving as you grow up. You have to let yourself grow up. Yeah. And sometimes that's a challenge for some people, right?
Totally.
So, cool, man. Well, listen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm excited to talk to you because, and I want to say lucky because you just finished Canadian Nationals.
Yeah. I was actually, today's the day. It's Wednesday. I competed Sunday in BC at Nationals. Man. Yeah. I think it was my first Nationals was 2016. So what's that? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, but it was canceled 21, 22. So technically my 7th Nationals, but 2020 was canceled. So really my 6th.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Cause we had something scheduled before, I think, and then you got sick or something like that. And we had to, so it's so cool because it's like, 4 days ago that you just went to Nationals.
Yeah. I was in BC like 2 days ago.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. And you probably don't want to say it because you're a humble dude, but you won.
Yeah.
That's friggin' awesome.
My fourth win at Nationals in a row.
How's that feel?
Good. Yeah. You know, keeping the train rolling.
Yeah. I saw a picture you posted there on Instagram where you're on the podium there, you know, and you guys are kind of holding hands and you know, the second place and third place. And do you struggle with ego when you win a competition like that, or at all, I suppose, in training leading up to the competition? I mean, your ego kind of has to change, and obviously one of the things me and Alex Belmar spoke about was that when you go into competition, you kind of need an ego to perform the best. But then, like, as soon as you're on that podium, maybe not as soon, you know, you just won, so maybe you can like gloat a little bit, but pretty soon after you need to kind of kill that ego, get back to normal. Do you struggle with ego or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know if it's a struggle, but I feel like there's a fine line between ego and confidence, right? You need to be confident in what you're doing, and if you're overconfident, it can come off as like a little ego. I don't know. I don't know if I struggle with it, but there is a fine line between being confident in your lifts, what you're doing, that you're going to win, things like that, and having an ego, right? And if someone's not in athletics, they might look at someone who's confident about what they're going to do and that they're going to win and say they have an ego. But for someone who competes, they might just think, oh, like they're feeling good, right? I wouldn't say I struggle, but there's definitely a fine line between the two.
Yeah, it's cool that you said that because I remember I was watching some kind of physical event with someone, and they weren't really in the gym at all, and it was something that was a little difficult, but not crazy difficult. So I kind of made the point that, it was a gymnastic moves. I said, I don't really train gymnastics, but I'm pretty sure I could do that if I trained for a little while, right? And they were kind of like, oh, like, look at you with the big ego. And I'm like, For me, it wasn't an ego thing. I know the process of training, and I know the path of improvement, and I have a rough idea of how hard some things are.
Yeah.
And I know my physical capabilities, and I know that there's things I can't do.
Yeah.
Right. So I definitely felt that some people they get a little, I don't know if they're just intimidated by it, or maybe it comes off as a bit of an ego.
Yeah. It also might come off as like a little naive too, right? So I mean, some people look at weightlifting and they think, oh, like how hard can it be? Like you just throw it over your head, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then there's the gap when someone starts weightlifting for like the first year or two, where they PR like every couple months.
Yes.
And then they hit that wall, and then they quit because they can't take it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, general life cycle of sport, you know, like the beginner phase, and then going in intermediate, and then like becoming a master, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think people in that phase get annoyed, or easily annoyed, by people who think they can come in and do it, and maybe you very well could go in and do it, right?
Yeah.
But there's a big gap between being able to do it and being able to do it like at the top level.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I mean? But I totally understand where they're coming from, where they're like, oh, this guy's got an ego, but really you're just being realistic about it, right? You're going through the thought process of, can I do this? I think I can. Like, what is there to it from an outsider perspective? Well, there's X, Y, and Z. I can do X, Y. I'm sure I could learn Z, you know?
Yeah.
You're just critically thinking about it.
Right. Yeah. It's not like you're someone on the couch that's never been to the gym before, and you're looking at someone squat 500 pounds and you're like, oh, I could do that. It's like, no. Like, you have to have some experience, I suppose, to back it up.
Yeah.
But if you know yourself and you know your capabilities, and, you know, of course. I mean, that's not an ego thing. That's just, it's really, I guess, knowing who you are and what you're capable of. And you could be wrong. Yeah. But, you know, because we're wrong about all kinds of things. But you did bring up people who quit once things start getting a little difficult. Mm-hmm. And so I see this quite a bit in young athletes. It is normally that 1 to 2 year range, because 1 to 2 years you're going to the gym, you're getting so much progress. And this isn't something that's only with the gym. This is something with like everything. Like when you start a new job, that first couple of years, you're just learning so much, and you're improving, and everyone loves you. Yeah. And then like 5 years later, you're like, okay, I haven't really improved much in my job, because I'm doing the same damn job. I don't know. How do you get through those points where maybe you're just hammering on a wall and you're not seeing any progress, but maybe you know yourself and you know if you keep going you can get there, but like how do you deal with that block?
So I never really thought about it until last year. I actually read a book. It was a very short book. It's called The Dip. I forget who it's by. It's like an 80-page book. And it talks about the life cycle of anything, where you start, you're really good, and then there's this dip. Yeah. Where it's that after 2 years or whatever we're talking about, where things get difficult. You don't see the progress you had. Things are like hard. Things aren't coming as easy. Like it takes more effort and more hours to get like 1% better than it did a year ago. And if I remember correctly, the book is basically just saying like there's a dip in everything. And if you want to be a master at something or good at something, you have to push through that dip. And if you're not willing to push through that dip in something, don't bother starting it, because it's just a waste of time. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, that's, for things that you want to like get good at, or jobs or career or purpose or something, it's in that context. But if you're doing something for fun, then like who cares? Yeah. I picked up chess in like I think 2020. Been playing it online a lot.
Oh, nice, man.
I am hard stuck at like 800, 900 rating, which is like super bad, right? Like the best in the world are at like 3,000 plus, right? So, but it's fun. I've logged like 200 games or 400 games at like this same rating. Mm-hmm. But it's fun for me. Like and I know if I want to get better, I'm gonna have to read like chess theory and understand like the different lines of play and what to do where and defenses and attacks, stuff like that. But I don't really care. I just play for fun. Yeah. Right? And it's like distinguishing if you want to put the effort in something to get really good at it, or if you're content just being like a weekend warrior, quote unquote.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's the weekend warriors. Yeah. For those that aren't in the athletics at all, it's like people who don't do anything during the week, and then during the weekend they're kind of just like, they're going at it in the gym. Yeah. I think that's an important distinction though. separating like what you want to excel at and what you just want to play at. And there's nothing necessarily wrong. You probably need one of each or a few of each in life.
Yeah.
You know, because for me personally, I've been playing the guitar since I was 9, and that's been like my road to excellence, right? But the piano I started playing 4 years ago, and I just dabble in it, man. Like I don't care. I know the process. You know, you go on YouTube, you learn how to play stuff perfectly, and then you do that enough times, and eventually you're able to play a lot of different songs perfectly, and then you can sort of fill in the blanks and really play anything. But I just kind of dabble with it now, and I'm not going after excellence, but I know the road to excellence.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't want to, because once you get on that road, it sort of changes the tone of it a little bit.
Yeah. It becomes less fun. It becomes more work. Right?
Yes.
Because it is work.
It is work.
Right?
Yeah.
It is work. To be like quote unquote good, like better than majority average people, or like the top, I don't know, 10% at something. Like it is work. It can be work that you can enjoy, but it's still work.
Yes.
Whether like I'll use the chess example. Like it's fun for me because I don't really care, right?
Yeah.
If I lose, it's like, yeah, whatever, fine. The guy beat me, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if I want to be like great at chess, like I have to put in work. I have to read chess theory, all this stuff that like I don't want to do, right?
Yeah.
Can't be bothered. But I know if I want to be great at chess, that's what I have to do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And part of that is accepting when someone comes along and they beat you at chess. You have to have the humility and the understanding to say, well, yeah, but I'm just playing at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I remember I went through a weird phase when I was in my early 20s where I would see athletes of different sports doing like impressive things, and I was a little jealous of them. I was like, damn, like I wish I could, I don't know, bodybuilders with big biceps or something like that. And it's like, I'm not even training for that.
Yeah.
Like, why am I comparing myself to someone who's not even in the same realm as me? Like, we're not even doing the same damn thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Comparing yourself to someone who's doing something different, it just doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah. I think everyone wants to think they could do something that someone extraordinary or someone is doing that's extraordinary or something, right? They don't want to feel insignificant by being compared to someone, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's okay. That's fine. Like,
right.
People are allowed to be better at things than you. And there are people that are going to be better at things than you. Like on average, you're not going to be the best in the world at anything, you know, because there's only so many things that you can be the best in the world at, right? And there's so many people, right? So like majority of people are not very good at almost everything. Right. By statistical, right? You know what I mean? Like I don't want to get down too down the rabbit hole with it. But
that's true. I never thought
it's like
about
if you
it
think
like
about that, if you think about the amount of things there are and the amount of people there are, right? Like there's way more people than there are things to be good at. You know what I mean? Jobs, hobbies, sports, all that, right?
Do you think it's important, probably particularly for young people, but just people in general, to have something that they want to excel at? And to put the work in for that?
Yeah, actually, so a couple years ago, I kind of like reworked how I wanted to think about things. So like played football pretty much from junior high right up through college, played professionally for a couple years. And then my career ended when, the head coach and GM pulled me in and I got cut, right? Just cut. Like, wasn't on my terms. It was like grown men telling me my dream was over, right? And for a few months after that, I like tried to get picked up, didn't have enough game film, wasn't good enough, whatever the case is, didn't get picked up. So I had to call it quits. After that point, I really struggled with like a quote unquote purpose because up until then, it was all football. Like went to school, did barely enough in school so I could train more for football. In the summer, stayed in the university town so I could train with no distractions for football. Worked in like a restaurant washing dishes because it was a job that allowed me to stay to train, focused everything around football. And then football ended. I was like, oh shit, now what? Yeah. Right. And then a few months later found weightlifting and got deep into that. But I've kind of separated my view or attention into like three different things. So there's career, purpose, and everything else. To me, like if you're like career and purpose can be the same thing. That's awesome. But that rarely happens. We're talking like 0.1% of the world where their career is their purpose, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think doing that is kind of messy because it can ruin both, right?
Yeah. That's true.
So career should be something that doesn't want to make you blow your brains out. Like you don't want to go to work every day wishing to be in a car accident when you're driving there because it gets you out of a shift, right?
Right.
It should also give you enough of an income that allows you to do things you want to do. Your purpose should be, in my mind, what gets you up in the morning. What wakes you, when you wake up and you're excited to do the thing you want to be the master at, right? That you want to put the work in to get better at.
Yeah.
And there's everything else, which is like going for a beer with buddies, family gatherings, doing a podcast, being a guest on a podcast, stuff like that. Right?
Yeah.
And then everything else is where you kind of like prioritize your extracurriculars, right?
Right.
So I broke it down to kind of those three avenues. So the career is what essentially pays for everything else.
Yeah.
The purpose is what gives you purpose and drive. And then everything else is just kind of what you fill the rest of the time with.
Yeah.
Right.
That's an interesting split because that first bucket, career, it's almost accounting for the practical limitations of existence. Meaning, you need food to survive. You need shelter to survive, right?
Yeah.
We all need to contribute to the world and society to create this society. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting because I feel like a lot of people are trying to mesh those two worlds now, trying to find passion through their work. And it can be done, but it's very difficult. And I feel like for most people, it's something like, okay, you find, like you said, find a job that you don't hate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to if you love it, great. But if you don't hate it, that's a pretty damn good start.
That's a win.
That's a win.
That's a win. Yeah. Think about how many jobs you've had and how many people have jobs where they wake up and they think, I can't wait till Friday.
Yeah.
They wake up Monday and they think, I can't wait till Friday. Like that TGIF attitude, I hate. Yeah. Like I in college, I always said TGIM. Right. Yeah, Start of a new week, ready to get after it. I was excited. Right. Had football. My purpose at that point. Right.
Right.
Monday meant it was like that's when we did our power cleans and stuff, and I was jacked about that, right?
Yeah.
The purpose and the purpose in the career, like if they can be the same thing, great. But you have to come with reality that like they're probably not going to be the same thing, and if they are, it probably won't be very long. Like the people that go viral, or the people that are professionals at what they do. Like think about actors and actresses, right? Like how many people actually get into acting and want to be an actor versus how many people actually get to be an actor.
So small, man.
Versus how many people actually get to be the kind of actor they want to be.
Yes, the Will Smiths. I know he's a little weird one to talk about right now.
Yeah,
Will Smith.
True.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
And I mean, there's definitely like some flaws in that logic and that thinking, but like the purpose, the career purpose, everything else, I'm sure people would like weigh it out differently. But that's kind of the way I looked at it, and it's working for me. So
yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I do find it strange, and I've been in that position. I guess most of us have, where you don't like your job at all. Man.
Oh,
like,
brutal.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's soul killing, man.
Yeah. Like the best thing in the world is a day off.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not what you want,
That's not
man.
what you want. No, for sure. I found like as with this job I have now, and with the podcast, man, like every day there's no different feeling between a Monday and a Sunday and a Friday. And like Fridays are a little different because Friday evening I generally will take the time off. That's kind of like my vice day, right? You know what I mean? I get some drinks in, and just myself and maybe some chips and stuff like that. And I'm normally filled with a bunch of gratitude because if I had a really productive week. So Friday evening is probably the only different way or different time of the week that I feel. The rest of the week, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's just a day. Yeah. And every day it's pretty much the same thing. It's like I get up, I do some work, I make some time for the gym, I do the stuff I have to do, clean up the house and all that stuff, and that's how you should feel like with your life. You shouldn't be like 5 out of 7 days.
Yeah, dreading like 8 to 10 hours of the day. Like we're talking like a third to half the day that you're dreading 5 of the 7 days. Like that's why when people are talking about like a career they want, to love. It's like, that'd be great, but start with a career or a job that makes you not want to blow your brains out every day.
Right.
That like when you're driving to work, you don't hope you get in a car accident on the way there so you can get out of a shift, right? Like, I think that's the biggest step when people have jobs that they don't absolutely dread. Their overall quality of life just goes like through the roof.
I think we have this misconception too that the baseline is not unhappy.
Yeah.
See, I think the baseline in life is you're fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you stop going to work, if you stop going to the gym, if you stop seeing friends, and if you have a partner, if you stop seeing your partner, like how long is it going to take before you're just in hell?
Yeah.
Right?
Not
That's
long.
the base.
A week tops, right?
like a week, right?
Yeah.
Do you so you, I'm assuming you take vacation every now and then.
I mean, the vacation for me is like traveling for trips, for competitions, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, to call that a vacation, like, you get to go to a different country or different part of the world, but like, it's a business trip, right? You're there to compete. So you're there for, I don't know, well, I'll use Worlds as an example. We were in Uzbekistan, right? Which is a cool place, very different. And we were there for probably 10 days, or I was there for like 10-ish days, probably a little less. But the first few days there, you're like getting used to the time zone, you're training, you're laying low. And I'm always the last day of the competition, like the heavyweights, super heavyweights are always the last day. It goes by like weight category.
Right.
So lighter guys and girls are at the start, heavier guys and girls at the end, everyone in between. So I wait, 5-7 days at Worlds to compete. And those 5 or 7 days, I'm not like going out seeing things. I'm not like eating like exotic foods. I don't upset my stomach. I am sleeping, eating the hotel food, training, and that's it. Yeah. Watching friends compete, teammates compete, watching the event, just trying to stay in the zone for those 5 to 7 days. Yeah. So then I compete. And then you've got the night after you compete, or the day after the day you compete, after you compete, and then the rest of the days before you fly home, which is usually like 1 or 2, and that's the vacation. Is like 3 days of the 10-day trip, right? And then you usually like have some drinks or you eat some food. Like in Uzbekistan, we had a lot of drinks after my event, which was fun, right? It was like I was actually there for my birthday, so we were doing like a birthday thing too. And then the next day we went and had like was plov. It's like a local cuisine. We had that, ruined my guts, and then we flew home the next day. Right? Like, it was cool, but I mean, is it a vacation? Kind of, but not really. Like, those are my vacations, right? Yeah. I like. Sorry, that was a long-winded way of saying.
No. That's really great because, so like, I find the same thing. If I have 3 days off in a row, it's very rare. Yeah. Man, I'm rearing and ready to go.
Itching to get back, man. Like,
I'm itchy.
Yeah. Same thing with training. Like, if I have, like, I trained today. Yeah. It was a rough one because I didn't really sleep Sunday or Monday night, but and then traveled like 4-hour time change jet lag. It was a rough one, but I still went and trained. Like, I was itching to get back. Yeah.
Well, let's put that in perspective because a lot of, just for people who aren't athletes, for a lot of athletes, after a competition, you've spent months and months and months just grueling, and your diet's on point, and you're so focused on this competition. And what a lot of athletes do, and I'm not judging them for this, but what a lot of athletes do is they take a few weeks off, or depending on who it is, right? Even like Matt Fraser, who's like the CrossFit champion, right, four times. Even he takes like a week or two completely off, doesn't do anything. And there's nothing wrong with that, but some of us, I share this with you, man, like, I'm itching to go, man. 3 days, 4 days, I'm like, got to get back and feel that steel or work or whatever it is that I've been away from, right?
I mean, I feel like I have a mix of both. Like, there's definitely been competitions where, like, my first nationals, I took like a month off afterwards. Yeah. I just like was exhausted, right? Yeah. Wasn't used to that kind of training, traveling, things like that. Yeah. But yeah, I take, I don't know, 3-4 days off tops after a competition, sometimes the week. But I find the more time I take off, it makes it that much harder to come back. Like, I need to rebuild the foundation. That's so I'm not like prone to injury. Takes like an extra week almost feels like extra week for every day after like 5 days that I take off.
Yeah, you do start to do that, and that's like with everything, man. Like, how long can you ignore your mailbox before the emails it's like it's too much
before it starts stressing you out? You see that red number on your phone every time you pull it out.
Oh
right?
man,
it's like, oh shit,
and then it's like Control A delete.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that you can do, right?
Yeah,
that's funny, and yeah, there's no judgment for that. I think. Well, what made me think about that, because you mentioned that you were exhausted, and so you needed a bit longer off.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the more stressed you are in life, the more you need that time off. So then you think about someone who's working 5 days a week at a job that they can't stand.
Yeah.
Like they need those 2 days off, right?
Yeah, just to level out.
And just to level out.
And then they're the same people that like book like a week or two vacation every year or two because they just need to like escape.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, man, I don't want to build a life or live a life that I need to escape from.
Right.
Right.
People do
like
that.
Vacations are nice.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Love vacations.
Yeah.
Like the idea of going somewhere and not giving shit or anything for a week. That's awesome. But like,
you
shouldn't do that out of necessity.
Right.
It should be done because you just like want to do it.
I've seen it. What scares me is when I see couples do that.
Yeah.
Like their relationship is just shit and they keep telling each other, like, we got that vacation in 3 months, man. Like, come on, let's just get through to those, get through to that, and then everything will be fine. We'll have a great time. And then they get there, and of course it's terrible because their relationship is terrible.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with, whether or not they're on vacation.
Yeah.
It's either their compatibility or they're not communicating or something. But yeah, we tend to do that, and it's not healthy that. People do it with retirement. Yeah. This is the most scary one to me.
They put retirement on a pedestal.
Yes. Yeah. And I can't wait to retire. And then like 3 weeks into it, they're like, holy, kill me now, man.
My father was like that. He retired early. Did quite well for himself. Retired early, and got bored.
Yeah.
He was like, I got bored of doing Sudokus every day in a coffee shop. I didn't know what to do, so I went back into business.
Yeah.
Went back to work. Right.
That's like the only thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Like if you're at a stage where you can retire, financially speaking.
Yeah.
Now that does open the window for, okay, well, what's my purpose? Mm-hmm. And so maybe if you have something that you're dedicated to on the side and the finances are no longer an issue, maybe you can like pursue that purpose a bit more. But yeah, I mean, you need like a routine too, right? Like you need some reason to get up. Structure, like I'm
big on structure.
Yeah,
big on structure. Yeah, love structure.
Yeah,
and I find if I don't have it, it stresses me out.
Yeah,
I'm the kind of guy where if my laundry's not put away, it stresses me out until it is. Right? Yeah, it could sit there for 3 or 4 days, but like it's in the back of my head, and I don't feel clear until like there's structure and order.
I can definitely relate to that. I gotta poke you about that though.
Sure.
Because I struggle with this too, so I'm genuinely curious. What makes you ignore that for 3 days?
Funny story. I used to like take it out of the washer and dryer and put it away right away, right? And then I dated this girl when I was like 22 or 23, and she was a procrastinator, and I think it made her feel kind of shitty that I would be so adamant about doing it, and I would do it, and that would make her feel bad. This is what I'm guessing, because she would like kind of give me shit for putting the laundry away.
That's weird, eh?
Yeah, it was a weird thing. Like we're both young, like didn't really know what we were doing, right? But so I kind of like got lazy with it, and then
formed a bad habit.
And it's been hard to kick. I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely some weeks like I'm thinking about right now. I got laundry to put away when I go home. Yeah, and I'm gonna do it because I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah,
you know? But also, I found what also tied into that too is in college, live with roommates, and everyone spends a lot of time in their own room. Right. Yeah. So if you have laundry to put away, you see it right away. And then at this point, I had my own apartment, and I only spent time in my bedroom when I was going to bed. Mm-hmm. So I didn't see the laundry until I went to bed.
And then you're going to bed.
And then you're going to bed, right? So I think it's a combination of those two things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that drives me crazy about it is, like, let's use a dishwasher as an example, very similar example. So if the dishwasher has been through the cycle and it's clean, and then you can ignore that for a while, not put the clean dishes away.
Yeah.
But you actually start to create more problems, because what ends up happening is you have nowhere to put your dirty dishes.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden now, this one little problem turns, like, it doubles.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing this one little.
And then counter space is gone because you got dirty dishes on your counter space, and then sink space, and then you need to, if you want to cook, you need to do something with the dirty dishes, and then do something with the clean dishes. So now you've created like 3 tasks for yourself to cook dinner.
Yes.
And then you don't want to cook dinner because you want to do all this, and it spirals, and you order food, and yada yada yada. The dishwasher is another one I've been kind of bad about lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I've been struggling with that too.
Yeah.
There's some energy going around.
Yeah, I know. Eh?
Yeah.
So this is now the Bad Habit podcast.
Yes,
where
apparently.
we just talk about all our shitty habits.
All of our terrible habits, even though we're both very conscientious. Because I'm the same way. Like, I get so stressed out by that stuff. But God, you just it's. I think it is about those habits, though. You know, like you let it get out of hand, and then before you know it, it's like every time you do laundry, or you want to do laundry, you have to fold all your clean clothes that's in the basket before you can. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, and what's that saying? It's like 21 days in a row to make it a habit or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know if it's 20 or 21 or 30 or whatever it is, but like,
yeah,
it's, you know, kind of comparable to like the dip we talked about, right? Like pushing through that to be good at something. Yeah, it's like you just have to push through those 3 weeks of like remembering to do it and being conscious about it to like change habits and actions.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I had this weird. I don't know if you've ever experienced anything like this, because we're on the topic of laundry and stuff. I had this weird thing happen to me where every time I would transfer the clean clothes to the dryer, I like hated that task.
Really?
Like, hated it so much.
Were your laundry doors on the wrong way or something, so you had to like go out and around the door?
Maybe.
Because that would do it.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe that was it. But it was like a few months.
Yeah.
Where I was doing it. It's not like I was dreading it.
Yeah.
I would be doing it and I'd be like, oh my God, this sucks, right? Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things that you just have to do. And I think about it all the time, because now I don't have that.
Yeah.
I hope I don't get it back now that I've talked about it.
Yeah, knock on wood, yeah.
But yeah, that's stuff like that where it's not, you don't get the option. Mm-hmm. Like, there's things in life that you just have to do.
Yeah.
You have to like find a way to just accept that and do it and not feel shit about it. Yeah. And I guess it is through those habits. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, but I mean, imagine feeling that way about your job.
Yeah.
Right? Just to loop back on the career purpose, everything else, right? Imagine feeling that dread about going to work. That's the point I was trying to make. But habits, no, I don't know. Just like try not to dread it, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like make fun, like throw headphones in, just do it. Because if you think about anything, any mundane task or anything you really don't want to do, it never takes very long.
Right.
Like, how long does it really take you to switch laundry over?
It's like a minute, man.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And it's like you spend so much time stressing about it and being annoyed that it's not done. And then you do it and you always think, A, wow, that was really easy. B, why was I so stressed about that? And C, like, why don't I just do it that way all the time?
Yeah.
Right? I try and think about that, is like, how will I feel after this is done?
Right.
And like, am I going to be able to do other things without thinking about this?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how, because it feels so good when you're on top of your laundry, you're on top of your dishes.
Yeah.
It feels so great,
man.
Oh,
it feels great.
Like, oh, God, I don't have to, like, move a bunch of shit out of the sink to cook something, you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm not a piece of shit.
Yeah. Someone comes over, you just die of embarrassment. You're like, oh, God.
Yeah, like, hang on one sec. Let me do these dishes real quick, right?
Can you stay outside for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I want to circle back to the meat.
Sure. So, yeah, we went off topic there.
Yeah, no, that was interesting though. I'm interested in the sort of like rebellious mindset, I suppose. Mm-hmm. So, and what I mean by that is, you mentioned to me the last time we spoke that on your second meet, so in weightlifting you have 3 attempts.
Yeah.
Just for people who don't know, you have 3 attempts at each lift, and what most people do, like ideally, you start off with a weight and then you add a little bit more weight, and then you add a little bit more weight if you made the previous weight. Mm-hmm. The thing is that you can't go down in weight.
Correct.
So if your first lift is 100 kilos and you miss it,
Yeah.
you can try it again, but you can't try 90 kilos.
No.
So you have to try the weight again that you failed at already.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened with you, whatever the weight, let's just say for argument's sake, 100 kilos. So
Sure.
you did it once, you failed. You did
Yeah.
it twice, you failed.
Yeah.
And then the third time, you got it.
Yeah.
Now, just to set the scene for people who haven't competed, it's like you're on a bit of a stage, right?
Yeah.
You're on a platform. It's called a
There's
platform.
a platform. Everyone's watching.
Yes.
It's like weightlifting is very, I don't know if prestigious is the good word for it, but it's comparable to golf, where like everyone stops and it's
Right.
quiet and they watch, person drive or putt, and then there's cheering after it's made or it's a good shot. Same with weightlifting. Like there's a lot of cheering and a lot of like rah rah, but it's at certain points. It's very quiet when someone's about to pull, and it's very quiet before someone's about to like jerk, or it's very respectable.
Yes.
Crowd cheering, right? There's no heckling, stuff like that.
Yeah, you can hear a pin drop, man.
Yeah.
It's really quite an interesting thing.
Yeah, and if you don't register a lift, so if you go 0 for 3 on snatch or 0 for 3 on clean and jerk, that's essentially bombing out.
Yeah.
Which is a DNF. Like
Yeah.
you don't get a total.
Yeah. That's an important point. Is if you miss the 3, it's like you're done.
It's a DNF. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same thing as like a false start in sprinting, right?
Yeah.
It's a DNF. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm interested in exploring is a lot of people would fail twice at that.
Mm-hmm.
And now everyone knows you failed twice.
Mm-hmm.
You're going on stage, the exact same stage, the exact same weight. You haven't changed. You haven't gotten any stronger in the last 5 minutes, 6 minutes, right?
If anything, you're tired by this point.
You're a little tired. And how do you have the mindset? How is it even in the realm of possibility that you have any confidence of completing that third lift?
Do or die, man. Like it's I don't know. I like being backed into a corner. I find I do the best. Committed to, when I played college football, I committed to a program that was known for going 0-8, right? My first year they did quite well. They went 4-4, and that was very good for the school at that time. Second year went 0-8. Third year went like 2-7 or 2-6, like not very good. But I like being the underdog, and I like fighting out of a corner, and I like that idea of being backed in the corner of like do or die.
Yeah.
Like I find I succeed way better.
You thrive on it.
Yeah, I love it. I never want to put myself in that position. I don't put myself in that position purposely.
Right.
But I thrive on it.
Yeah.
I like being the underdog. And I like being thought of as the underdog.
Yeah. It's that coming back, that is like, because it's redemptive in a sense, right?
Yeah.
It's like a form of salvation. It's like, oh, this guy failed twice and then he did it the third
Like nothing's
time.
going to stop me. Like
Yeah.
how can you beat someone that doesn't give up? You know what I mean? Like that corny saying, it's like, it's true. It's true. How can you beat someone that like backs against the wall, last attempt, doesn't give up?
Yeah.
If anything, attacks it more.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It kind of reminds me of what David Goggins said. You know David Goggins?
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, he said something like, when I'm up against it, like I'm in a situation like that, I always think, like, what if I could?
Yeah.
Like, what if I did fail twice and then get it on the third time?
Yeah.
Like, what if? And
What
then
if,
that's what motivates him to do it. It's
Yeah.
like, and to me that's amazing, man. I have so much respect for people who can fail twice at a competition where everyone's watching and everyone knows you failed, and it's been like no time since your fail.
Yeah. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
If you follow yourself, you have a 2 minute clock.
Exactly.
You have to start the lift within 2 minutes.
Yeah. That, man, the amount of fortitude. And so this is something that's interesting. Maybe we can pick apart. Your physical body hasn't changed.
Yeah.
You are just as strong.
Yeah.
So the fortitude that allows you to succeed in that situation is a mental fortitude. So what do you think in terms of like strength? Like when you think of the word strength, obviously you're a strength athlete. So you think about things like squats and deadlifts and pulls and snatches and clean and jerks. But what does it like bring to mind in terms of like that mental fortitude or that resilience?
I don't know, just like not giving up, I guess, to put it bluntly and kind of like a little cliche. Like strength is just like refusing to stop, right? Refusing to like bend the knee, refusing to, like just resisting, like giving up. I guess, I don't know, maybe that's not a good way to put it, but.
Well, it is in a sense. It's sort of, yeah, it's like throw at me what you may.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going because regardless of what I've done in the past, I know that I can succeed at this.
Yeah, like I've done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
like it's nothing new.
But the crazy thing though is that the past is 5 minutes ago or 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
In a competition.
Yeah.
Like you just failed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you were to do like a test in school
mm-hmm.
and then you fail and then the teacher's like, all right, you did terrible on that.
Yeah.
Here's the test again.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
I mean, assuming you know the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you're opening and weightlifting like a weight you've never hit before,
right?
Ever, it's like, okay, that's not really a good strategy.
It's not wise.
If you go into an exam not knowing any of the material and fail and have to take it again, it's like, yeah, that's not really a good strategy. But assuming you know the material or you've hit the lift again, like it's nothing new.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything different. You just need to like focus, dial in.
Do you think that comes with experience? Like when I was younger, just to give a personal example, when I was younger, if I failed a lift, like snatch and clean and jerk, the Olympic lifts in particular, if I failed a lift, it was like devastating. Like my form was completely destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, it's like I can kind of think, well, I know what I did wrong. My hips were too high or something like that. I'll just correct that,
mm-hmm.
and then I can actually do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what, like, do you think experience plays a role in that?
Yeah, I think experience plays a role in pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like learning from your mistakes, learning how to correct it. Like you said, when you were younger, you didn't know anything about it. And you would miss and be devastated by it. And you were probably like seeing a lot of progress at the time too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So any sort of speed bump or halt is difficult when you're like going like this, right?
Right.
But if you're going like this, like over a long period of time, there's lots of little dips, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Do you think that rebellious mindset though? Do you think that's something that you can like, I don't know, manifest over time or evolve over time, or do you think that's something that's sort of built into you? I mean, I get the feeling that maybe that's something that you've always had a little bit of.
No, man, I used to be lazy. Super.
Really?
Oh yeah, I used to be super lazy. Huh. Like growing up, I was always like the chubby kid, you know, classic fat kid.
Yeah.
Loved video games, still do. Don't play them much anymore, or really at all. But used to game all the time. Played lots of sports, but just like loved to game. Loved microwave nachos. You know, that was my thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like a big kid, so football coaches were like, "Come play football," and that was the first time I'd ever faced any sort of adversity. Was or physical adversity was football. Like the first week of training camp, they just try and make you quit.
Yeah.
And the only reason I didn't quit is because my mother was friends with one of the coach's wives, and I knew I'd have to see him all the time, right? And I felt like if I quit, I was letting him down, right? Which in turn was like letting friends and family down,
right?
So didn't want to quit, pushed through it, and it was like, wow, that was hard. I don't want to do that again. But then was right back there the next year, and then kind of like started to enjoy the grind a little bit. And it wasn't until high school till my high school coach was, you know, essentially made us take pride in having a chip on our shoulder, like we had something to prove, because we were like an underfunded, not even underfunded, we had 30 guys in our team, right, in high school, and that's not a lot. Like a lot of guys were going both ways. People didn't get breaks. Like we were counted out all the time, and I just thought, you know, like take pride in having a chip on your shoulder and proving them wrong, and like taking it back, right, like controlling it.
You see that in history quite a bit, that mentality. I'm just thinking about like the Scottish people back when the English were just oppressing them like crazy, right? Yeah. And they, like, it was illegal to play the bagpipes, and they would play the freaking bagpipes.
Lean into it, man. Take it back.
Yeah. And it's like that, you know, it's like they were playing the songs themselves were illegal. Yeah. And the instrument was illegal. So they were playing illegal songs on illegal instruments. Yeah. As like a fuck you, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's sort of rebellious. Like it's almost like you can imprison our bodies, but you can't imprison our soul. It's kind of like that same idea. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember like watching a documentary in, I think it was high school. It was about racial segregation. This is when they were like bringing fire hoses and hosing down like black neighborhoods in the States. For I can't even remember the context, but I remember they were protesting about something. Like this primarily black community was protesting about something, and you know, cops would bring fire hoses, hook it up to the fire hydrant, and hose them to get rid of the mobs. Yeah. And then kids started dressing in bathing suits coming to these protests, right? It's like the same sort of idea, right? Yeah. And I'm not doing that story justice at all. It was like a documentary I watched in high school, but that's the one snippet I remember from it. Was these like toddlers and teenagers and preteens like leaning into, we're gonna get wet today, so like let's enjoy it. Yeah.
Damn, man.
Yeah, pretty cool, eh?
That gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, right?
That's so friggin' man, because that's really what you're saying is you're not breaking my spirit.
Yeah, like I'm not breaking.
Yeah.
And that's like, again, we talk about David Goggins, like in his chapters where he talks about where he's in Hell Week, and he's like, you can't break boat crew 2 or something like that. Like the chapter where he notices that his whole boat crew is like mentally dead. Like they don't want to do it. They're slogging through it. And then he just like gets them all hyped up being like, you can't, like, you're not going to beat us. Like, you're not going to break boat crew 2. Like no matter what. And they start chanting back, and it's like they get punished for it, but they do it. And they chant through the punishment. Right. Yeah.
It makes me wonder, if you could be mentally strong, how much could you physically do?
Yeah.
Because it's like if you're running, I don't run. I used to run, but if you're running and you kind of get that feeling like, oh, I want to stop. Mm-hmm. You know that your body can do it.
Oh yeah.
It's not like your body's just going to stop working. It's like your body can do it.
Yeah.
The issue is your mind, you're telling yourself that you should stop because you're uncomfortable right now. Yeah. So if you can become mentally strong, like what are the upper limits of what you can physically do? Mm-hmm. Right? David Goggins is like
example.
Pushing that boundary.
Yeah, good example. Like ultramarathon runner.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I what's there was another one about this Marine that ran in marathons. It wasn't David Goggins. It was someone else, but he said that I think like your mind or you telling yourself to quit, you're not even like halfway to actually like what your body can do. Something along those lines. I'm butchering that, but basically like when you think you've tapped out completely, like your mind is tapped out and you're like, I have no more left. You actually have like, you're not even halfway. Yeah. Like fit with your physical ability. Right. Assuming like 100% is like, fatal, right? Yeah. There's way more left in the tank.
For sure, man. Yeah. I call myself out on this all the time in the gym. Mm-hmm. Like I'll feel tired. It's like the end of the workout. I got to do squats or something at the end. And it's like, I always tell myself, I always don't want to do it because I'm tired and I want to go away. And I tell myself, I lie to myself and say, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. And then the other side of my brain goes, can you not do it, or do you just not want to do it? Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh shit, now I have to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have days like that too, where, things were heavy, things were slow. Like today, things were heavy for me.
Yeah. Well, just coming back from competition.
Yeah. I had to dial some stuff back. But it was fine. But there's days where it's like, I just don't want to do it. I'm more than capable of doing it, but I just don't want to do it.
Right.
And usually those days I end up doing more because I just talk myself into it. Yeah. Like you've done this before hundreds of times, maybe even thousands of times. Like, you can do it. Just like grow up. Stop. Right. Basically like stop wussing out. Stop being a bitch about it. Just handle it. You signed up for this. You know what it takes. Do it.
Yeah. You got to push through those days, man. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's like, I wish there was like a solution, like an easy solution for this, but I really just think it's telling yourself to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. And it is really hard. Like, so, I mean, you're a national champion in weightlifting, and you struggle with this. I've been lifting weights since I was 14, and not as accomplished as you are, but like been doing it for a long time. I still struggle with this. Mm-hmm. This isn't something that you're a beginner and you feel this way. It's like no matter what level you are, there's going to be days where you just don't want to do something. Mm-hmm. And I find the same thing. If I actually convince myself to go in, or force myself, I suppose, a lot of times after the first 20 minutes, I start to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
You got to get through that window.
You're glad you're there.
Yes.
Yeah, you're glad you're there. Glad you did it. Same
Yeah.
thing with like the laundry and all that stuff. Once you
Yeah.
start it, you think, oh, it's not
Yeah.
so bad. It'll be done in no time. And then you do it. And you're like, wow, I'm glad that I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same idea.
Yeah.
Same idea. And then if you skip something or slack off on something in your workout, you like feel guilty about it.
Yes.
Right. Like there's been times where I have a workout like that where I'm partway through the workout or finish an exercise and think, oh, that was good. Yeah, I don't need to do anymore, or I don't need to push it, or I'll call it down for my last set, and then I finish it, and then I'm starting on my next exercise, and I think, no, I'm gonna go back and do the last set. And you go back and do it, which ends up being more work than if you just originally had done it.
Right. Yeah, I've had those moments too. You start to take the weight off the bar. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do another different exercise.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, I don't know, I gotta slide this thing back.
We're going
on.
back. Yeah, we're going back. Like I played football with a guy in high school that did 1 rep more for every set on every exercise than he was supposed to.
Yeah.
And his theory was that over weeks, months, years, those 1 rep of everything, of every set, will add up to like hundreds of workouts, right, over time. Yeah. That you're now ahead of your competition, right? It's different in weightlifting and strength sports. It's different. Yeah. But when you're training for football, it made a lot of sense at that point.
Yeah, that general idea though is true. It's actually true in the workplace. I think statistically, if you work like 3 more hours a week, so if you have a 40-hour work week, and if you work 43 or 45, something like that, those extra hours are not equal. It's like you get an extra like 50% past the 5. So you're working 5 hours. It's more like working 8 in terms of like the efficiency and in terms of like your value to the company, like across all these statistical metrics. I have to dig that up. But yeah, like that idea of, and it doesn't necessarily mean more reps. It can mean like a lot of different things. I mean, there's so many things that go into like a training regime on the road to excellence, right? But it is that idea of if I put in a little bit more, it's not, you don't get a little bit more back. You get a little bit and a little bit more. So it's like, you know what I mean? You get incremental increases to that. Yeah.
Like that the saying, a little by little, a little becomes a lot. I don't know who said it, but like
that's it.
Yeah. Every day, little by little, one day, that little will become a lot. Yeah.
That is the road to excellence, I think, period. You know what I mean? It's like it is just putting that little drop in the bucket and perfecting each and every little step in the way. And so talk about like, okay, how do you get yourself in the gym when you don't want to go? What I found is that I don't have to worry about the 1.5, 2-hour workout I have to do. I have to get my first foot into the door. I have to like step into the gym. And then what ends up happening is, okay, well, here I'm at the gym. Now I'm going to warm up. I'm going to stretch where I need to stretch. Now I'm going to pick up the barbell. And then like what ends up happening is you start to enjoy it. But you have to, it's a weird paradox, isn't it? Like for you to experience some of the best things in life, you have to get through that voice. You have to tell that voice that's telling you to be mediocre, to shut the hell up, because I'm going to go do this anyway. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's basically, the same thing with like, we were talking about dishes and laundry and stuff, right? It's stuff that is going to bother you if you don't do it. And if you want to feel better, you need to do it. And the gym thing too, like what motivates me is like, I have goals I want to reach, and you don't reach the kind of goals I have by like taking a day off. Yeah. Or like slacking. Right. And the same way, a little by little, a little becomes a lot. It also goes the other direction. Yeah. You take the set off. You don't think about, like, you're not mentally in for the set. That's right. You're not dialed in. You do one less rep, whatever it is. If you do less, little by little, a little becomes a lot in the other direction.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Slippery slope.
It is a very slippery slope.
Yeah. Like we're talking, my bad laundry habit is now like, I don't know, pushing 5 years, 6 years maybe, right? Like, still bad at laundry, right? Because I let it slip for, I don't know, 6 months when I was in this relationship. Damn. And for a number of other reasons, but
do you, just to circle back on that?
Man, I got to fix that laundry issue.
It's got to be fixed, man.
21 days from now, it's going to be perfect.
Yeah, man, me too, man. We'll do it together. Yeah. We'll do the 21-day challenge. Yeah. But I know you guys were young, but your girlfriend at the time. Yeah. she was almost, it sounded like, again, and I know this, your speculation in some sense, but it sounded like you were so good at something that she was bothered by it.
Yeah.
Maybe because it pointed out how terrible she was at something.
Yeah.
So she, as opposed to her making herself better, and I'm not judging this person at all. I'm just trying to like understand the situation.
She leveled it out by bringing me down.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
yeah. That's what I think. But also, like, I was also probably a little lazy, you know.
Oh yeah, you weren't perfect in the relationship. You know what I mean.
Definitely not. Yeah. But and I find that's what people do too. Like if you think about, I forget who said it, but like hate always comes from underneath. Like if you're up here and someone's here, and like you never catch hate from the guys that are higher than you, right?
That's
if anything,
so true, man.
They're encouraging you.
That's
right?
so true.
They want you, like if you think about anyone in any like context, it's like they always want to take someone under their wing, right?
Yeah.
They always want to offer advice. Like they went through all the struggle. Think about like entrepreneurs, like your father, right? Like parent figures, like everyone wants to help people for the most part, right? Not everyone, but you know, people want to help people, especially in like a very niche thing like a strength sport, right? And like people aren't jealous of someone that is worse at something than them, right? People are jealous or want to like tear someone down that's better at something than them, because they want to be better at it. Yeah.
Right. I think it's also like an insecurity too.
Totally.
So people get intimidated by going to the gym because they feel like there's going to be people in there that are not going to be supportive of them, and they're going to have a bit of an ego there. And my experience is that normally it's the people that are in like the first year, maybe 2 years of training, where those are the dicks in the gym. It's never someone who's like a national champion. Like there's anomalies everywhere, but overwhelmingly the athletes that I've met and spoken to that were excellent at their craft, they tend to be very humble. They tend to be very helpful. They're very kind. They don't give a shit how much you're lifting. Yeah, like that's my experience. So I suppose for anyone who maybe is a little intimidated by going to the gym, it's like, well, find someone that's like excellent at it. Don't find a gym bro that's been into it for 6 months. Like find
the master.
Find the master.
Yeah, the master in the room.
Yeah, and it's very rare that you find a master that's going to be a dick to you, because they know the struggle.
Yeah. Right. As long as like, you know, the proper etiquette, you don't go up to them when they're in the middle of the set. Or in the zone, clear about to like hit a big weight or something like that. But if you go up and you just say, hey, I'm new, like what should I do? Or can you point me in the right direction? Right. Because you ask a master essentially for like free coaching. It's like, well, it doesn't really work. Right. But if you ask them like, hey, I'm new, what would you do if you were in my shoes? Right. Yeah. And then they would probably say, oh, I'd go get a coach. Or like, I'd do this, go to this gym. Like, if you want to do this gym isn't really for you. Like, go to this gym and do it there. I got a buddy there. I'll call them. Let them know you're coming.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you contact. Give them a shout.
Yeah. No, you can't expect someone to like adopt you on as a Padawan, you know what I mean? Yeah. But in terms of just speaking with people, like I find some people that are new to the gym, they don't even want to talk to anyone. Like they're so intimidated that they don't even want to approach anyone and say hi or anything like that. So yeah, overwhelmingly, I think people in the gym that are past that initial stage, maybe at that stage, if they've gotten past the wall of like no progress for a little while, normally they tend to be pretty humble because they realize that they're not all that great. You know, like they're just normal people. Like you make progress and then you stall, and then you make a bit more progress and then you stall, and you're nothing special. You're not a god. You're just a person, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting, man. Yeah. Cool. Actually, here's something that this is one of the reasons why I wanted to chat with you to begin with. And you, on your Instagram story, you had a reading list. You did a reading challenge last year.
Yeah,
21, right?
Yeah.
So that was one book per week.
A book a week, 52 books in a year.
Yeah, and you posted it on Instagram.
Yeah.
The story, yeah.
Yeah. So to give some context, I used to read one book every 2 years, 3 years. Never a reader. Still don't really think of myself as a reader. But I always admired people that were readers. I thought, man, that's a hobby I would like to like. Yeah. I want to enjoy it.
Right.
So being me and not doing anything half-assed, I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna read a book a week. Don't care. It's just time, right? I can read words. It's just time. Like,
Right.
I'm just going to put the time in it. And also what sparked it too was in 2019, I'd watched this YouTube video by a channel called Yes Theory, right? And a guy on there had deleted all social media for like 30 days. And he said that his life improved like drastically, right? Like he was able to read, he was able to go for a run every morning before work. He lived in California. He was able to go surfing after the run before work. He was able to read way more frequently, and he felt happier in life. And then that got me thinking in 2019, like, wow, I want to reduce my screen time. Open my screen time, it was like 5-6 hours a day. It's like, I'm going to get this under 2. So in 2019, I got my screen time consistently at like 2 hours, which I was really proud of. Screen time on my phone. Really proud of that.
That is good, yeah.
2020, COVID, it kicked back up to like 5, right? So it's like, okay, I got to get rid of this. Like I got 5 hours a day, like assuming you need 2 or 3 hours for work and actual communication, and the other 2 are just like doom scrolling on Instagram, right? It's like, let's say I got 2 to 3 hours a day that I can do anything with, and I'm scrolling stuff I don't care about, right? Like have you ever had a doom scroll where afterwards you were like, I'm glad I did that?
No,
right?
Jesus, no.
It's usually you thinking, holy shit, I got to get out of this.
While you're doing it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're scrolling as you're thinking, man, one more, then I'm done. One more, then I'm done, right?
God, man.
It's like super addictive, right? So in 21, I was like, you know what? I've got 2 or 3 hours a day that I'm looking to fill something other than scrolling. How about I reach for a book instead of my phone, right? I'll reach for a book. So I was like, I'll test it. If I can read one book in the first week of the year, I can do it 51 more times. Easy, right? If I can do it once, I can do it 100 times. I'll do it 51 times after that. Finished, I don't know, it's a 300, 350 page book in like a week. It's like, cool, easy. I can do it, right? No problem. And then just said I was going to do it, put it on my Instagram to help hold myself accountable, and really like fell in love with reading. Like it was awesome. It was great. There were definitely some weeks where I dragged ass through a book. And there was definitely some books that I read, like The Dip, that were like 80 pages. And I was like, wow, that was an easy one. I'm glad now I can have a break for a day or two. Right? Yeah. But essentially I would pick a book and then see the number of pages and divide that by 7. I just made sure I read that many pages a day.
Yeah.
And really, man, like guys especially, you can bang out like 30, 40 pages a day in the bathroom. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like very easily. Like
yeah.
What's it take you, like a page a minute?
Right.
Say even page every 2 minutes, right? 40, 50 pages a day is 50 minutes to an hour and a half, right? Like it's really, it's not
that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's really
it's just time and effort.
What's cool about that is you looked at not what you could add first. First you said, what can I take away?
Yeah.
And one of those things was social media.
Yeah.
So this is very helpful because like we all have the same 24 hours a day, right? There's people like Joe Rogan, he's doing like 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Just like I know he's getting help, but like we all have 24 hours. There's no one out there that has 25, 26, 27. No, you got 24 hours. So what are you filling your day with that is just useless garbage?
Yeah.
Most people, probably a bit of social media.
Yeah. Well, everyone loves a doom scroll, man. Like, I didn't delete social media completely because, like, I love scrolling. You know, who doesn't?
Exactly.
Right? But, like, I don't need to be doing it for 3-4 hours
3-4 hours a day.
Right?
Yeah.
Nah, like 20 minutes to an hour tops. That's all you need.
When I first downloaded TikTok, I was on it for not even that long, but like I wasn't on it all day, maybe like 2 hours. For that day, and I just remember I just felt like I was drained, and I think what it was is my dopamine circuits were just drained,
so stimulated,
and I was just exhausted. I never felt like that exhausted, man. And it's just like now I don't go on TikTok much now, but I was going on it for a while, and it got to the point where it didn't bother me. And but it still has to take away from your life. You know what I mean? Like you can't just, even the time alone, like take away all the neuroscience. Even time, 2 hours a day, man.
Like think of what you could do. Like I read 52 books in a year by decreasing my time on social media.
Yeah.
Where anytime I would reach for my phone without a notification, just reach to check, right? I would instead reach for a book. Like I carried my book and phone everywhere together in the house.
Right.
Right. And if I was reaching for my phone, I would reach for the book first.
Yeah. That's
Even
good.
if it was like, I'll read 5 pages, then I'll scroll.
Yes.
Right? Or I'll read a chapter, then I'll slack off.
Yeah.
Right?
The reason I wanted to bring this up is because I'm sure a lot of people, and I got a lot of respect for you in terms of like your athletic accomplishments.
Thank you.
But I feel like a lot of people would look at someone that's been as accomplished as you are and almost think that you're just like a robot of success.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like people have these daydreams of people that have accomplished things, but what you did with reading, anyone can do with something like the gym.
Anyone.
It's like, this is something that I aspire to be, someone who reads. Why? Because reading makes you know more, gives you different perspectives, gives back to your life. And how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to set a requirement. One book a week. I can do it week 1. I can do it week 2. I can do it week 3. I can do it week 4.
Yeah.
And you actually started to like it.
Yeah. That was the idea, was I wanted to like force myself to like reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it became like when it was summertime, I loved sitting outside and reading.
Yeah.
Super relaxing. Got in a habit of waking up an hour before work, having a coffee and reading outside with the sunrise. I was like, man, that's a wicked start to the day.
Oh man, I do that
too. That is like a relaxing start to the day. Since the new year, I've severely slacked in reading because towards like December, it was really a job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to get back in that habit come, it's summer now. We're getting there, but nicer weather.
Well, eventually what happens is things start to become a piece of you, because like anyone who's proficient at an exercise, for example, so you're a proficient weightlifter, national champion, there was a time where you didn't have any of those habits of going to the gym.
Exactly.
Like we all start as a baby with nothing,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Like you have to pick up those habits. You have to develop those skills eventually at some point.
Yeah.
So like everyone can do it. It's just a matter of getting into the habit of it and doing it. And really it's like you said, there's going to be some days, man, you want to burn the book.
Yeah.
But you read whatever 300 divided by 7, you read that number that day, and then you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's funny too, because like, I don't know, I feel like people look at me and they think there's a really physically strong guy, right? But I don't really think of myself as a overly physically strong guy. Like I'm just a dude that goes to the gym a lot. You know what I mean? Like,
interesting, yeah.
Like I might have different genetics than people, or be taller, or whatever, right? But I wasn't always physically strong, right? Just like went to the gym a lot, enjoyed the gym, put the work in. I've been strength training since I was 12.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's a long time, man.
17 years, man.
Yeah.
Right? I've been in the gym, right? Yeah, I'm strong after 17 years of doing it 5 times a week, right? Over like average. So of course.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of people would be strong. They might not be a national champion,
but they'd be strong.
But they would be strong.
Right? Effort and time. Same thing with reading, right? That's all it took, was just effort and time and like wanting to do it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you can do that with anything, man. You can do that with reading, with the gym, even like with relationships, like anything that you aspire to be like. You just need to make a plan and you need to stick to it and be dedicated to it. So I thought that was a great example, because again, like we idolize people all the time, like you see someone and you're standing there on the podium and you've done that successful lift, or you failed twice and then you got it on the 3rd attempt, and we idolize people, but like every single person is just a person. Yeah. Right?
There's nothing special about people. Yeah. They're just like effort and time. Put in the effort. Maybe they're like naturally good at something, naturally. Right. Right? Maybe have a head start, or don't have a head start, but it's just time and effort in anything you're doing. Yeah. To be really good at it. Yeah. Right? Or to enjoy it. Even the best of the best, they have genetics on their side, but just genetics is not going to do shit for you. Yeah. Like, if you didn't go to the gym for the last 17 years, you couldn't show up to that competition on Sunday and win. Yeah, even like with football, man, I didn't really ever think I was that good of a football player. Like, didn't really know much outside of my position. Technically undersized for the CFL, right? I just worked hard. I just like knew what I was supposed to do, did it, and didn't ask questions, and just like worked hard. Right time, right place, right? Right. Just so happened that my draft year was not a very competitive year. right? Got drafted, played for a year and a bit. It was great. Got cut, couldn't get picked up, whatever, moved on. Right?
Yeah.
But I didn't actually think I was anything special of a football player. Just like enjoyed football and worked at it.
Yeah. You think you have to learn that though? Like I'm speaking specifically about children, because it seems like if you talk to a young person and they haven't really maybe accomplished anything yet, and we're all there at some stage, it's like you tell them, like, listen, if you just go to the gym and you squat 3 times a week or once a week, even once a week, you're going to get better, you're going to get stronger. And they're like, yeah, I know. But they don't really know. Like they see other people do it. They understand and appreciate the principle, but they don't think that they can do it. So I feel like almost what you have to do with kids is just give them something to accomplish. And they might hate that thing in 5 years. It doesn't matter. The point is that they need to know that if they work at something, they will get better at it. I don't know. Do you think like that's something that you have to impose, or?
I don't know. It's tough. Like, I'm not a dad, right? So anytime I talk about what you should do with children, I feel a bit like phony, right?
Yeah, I feel you, man. Me
you know,
too.
it's like, I want kids. I don't have kids right now. I'm sure everything will change, like how I think you should do something when I'm deprived of sleep, and like it's tough. Like, it's tough to say what should we do for children when I'm not a dad. But I don't know. I think kids need adversity and challenge, and like, I think of some of my my best moments in sports, the ones I loved the most, were like overcoming the most adversity, right? It was that much more enjoyable, that much sweeter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, struggle and difficulty makes getting to the end or the end point or the goal that much better. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't really know specifically what to do with children, but I think they need to face some sort of adversity. Not so much that it makes them quit, right? But enough that there's struggle.
Yeah.
Right? That they like think about quitting.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. That they consider quitting, but then they don't.
Exactly.
And like, that's mental fortitude.
Exactly. Like when I was talking about high school football, like the first week they tried to make us quit. Guys would we'd be running hills, and guys would start like walking away, and we would yell, and then one of the guys on the team would like go grab them and bring them back. Like, you wouldn't let someone quit.
Right.
Right. Because you knew that they would regret it the next day.
Right.
And the coach said, if you quit, you're not coming back.
Yeah.
Right. So we kind of like would tell new guys, like, if you're going to quit after training camp.
Yeah.
Right. Because the hardest part is training camp.
Yeah.
If you can push to training camp, you can do the whole year. No problem.
Right. It's almost like the opposite of what a lot of people want today. A lot of people want encouragement.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's something to be said. Like, I think you need encouragement from maybe from your parents. Like,
some praise of some kind.
Yeah, you need that.
Positive reinforcement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think equally, maybe paradoxically, you need someone to, like, you need someone that's going to like get in your face a little bit sometimes. Like, I think you need both. You need encouragement, but you also need someone that's going to say, I think you should quit. I don't think you can do it. And then you say, well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. I think more so is that you should get to a point where you shouldn't rely on external encouragement or positive reinforcement to complete a difficult task.
Yeah.
You should just know it's going to be difficult, face the adversity, and overcoming the adversity should be the reward, right?
Yes.
We're not all there. It's hard to get there, especially as like a teenager playing football.
Right.
But, like, ideally, I think that is the ultimate goal.
That is the ultimate goal.
That's the ultimate goal.
I'm speaking more like young people that are just sort of finding their feet. You know what I mean? Like, because I think you, like, as a child, man, you need your parents to encourage you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, the end goal is I don't need externals. That's very stoic, right?
Yeah.
It's very stoicism. It's disregard externals because I know what I want and I know who I am and I know what I can achieve.
Yeah.
And that's it, man.
And it's like the whole thing of like when you stop caring about how people perceive you and what they think of you, and it just like start being you. It's way easier to be you, and you can like stop giving a shit.
Yeah,
right. And then like it's like, I mean, we all think about what someone thinks of them, or we meet someone for the first time, and you're wondering like what they think of me, or people want to be liked, people want to be well thought of, but like, so getting rid of that completely is very difficult, and but yeah, getting to the point of not needing externals is the goal.
And hopefully like by that point you have like if you have someone that genuinely loves you, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a partner, I think that gives you a bit more resilience to go into the world. And I know that's still an external, but I think that when you have like a really intimate relationship with someone,
Yeah.
I think that in a sense you're still two separate people, but there's like a union there that allows you to deal with, like, okay, it's not so much that, you know, if someone doesn't like you that you've just met, well, yeah, but I know fundamentally that I am lovable to someone, that I am still worthy, right? Like it's very hard to go through life with no one liking you at all, right? That's rough. Yeah. And unfortunately there's some people like that, but that is a rough way to live, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like having back to like the cocky or the ego / confidence thing, right? There's a fine line of it where, like, I know I'm not a piece of shit. You know, like, I know that on average, the more time someone spends with me, they're probably more likely to like me or enjoy my company, or maybe not. But I think that, you know, I like to think I'm a pretty decent human being. So like, if I have a bad first interaction with someone, if I have a second one, it's probably going to be decent. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And having confidence in that, but not so much confidence that you're like walking around, right? You know, hey, I'm the best. Right. Look at me. You're lucky to be in a room with me, right? Yeah. It's confidence of just knowing, like, I feel good about myself. I feel like I'm a very genuine human. If they don't like me, that's fine. Yeah. They probably have some shit going on, or maybe we just didn't vibe well. That's fine. Right. Like, they're allowed to not like me.
Well, good intentions translate forward in time. Yeah. They propagate effectively through time. If you have good intentions, you might not be self-aware. So maybe you're an asshole and you just don't know it, but you still mean well. Well, over time, what's going to happen is hopefully you'll make some friends, or you'll have some interactions that will make you more self-aware, and then you'll grow from that. And then over time you become better, and your intentions are still good. So as long as you genuinely mean well, and you're willing to listen to truth, like, you know, if someone tells you you're an asshole and you just disregard it, that doesn't work either. Yeah. You have to be willing to listen and accept that. But fundamentally, if you have good intentions, man, that's what moves you forward in time in terms of like likability, and not just likability from other people, but even yourself. Yeah. Like, you like yourself, love yourself. You have to have good intentions before that can happen, right?
Totally.
So cool, man. We're getting probably pretty close to the end here. I guess last question I'd like to ask is a pretty open-ended question. Sure. What gives you meaning in life?
Man, that's a good question. I like that. Meaning. I don't know. I would derive that to, like, of the three avenues. Purpose, right? Right now it's weightlifting. I wake up and I'm fucking jacked to train. Or at least I tell myself I am. On days I'm not. I have goals that I want to achieve that I'm excited to kind of get to and see if I can do it. And then after weightlifting, whenever that is, if I retire, I'm sure my purpose or meaning will change. And that's fine. Maybe it'll be wanting to be a dad, right? Maybe I'll just like put my purpose into being a father, right? Or a husband, or better partner, or I don't know, maybe I'll pick up, I don't know, RC cars and be like, yeah, that's my purpose now, right? But I think what gives my life meaning is what I'm excited to do when I wake up. Like that purpose avenue I talked about before, where, you know, purpose to me is like, and I'm kind of intertwining purpose and meaning here, because to me they're kind of interchangeable. Yeah, yeah. Is what you wake up and you're excited to do and drives you, right? Like on a daily basis, what you're looking forward to that day, what you're jacked about, right? Like what fulfills you when you're doing it, right? And to me right now, that's training, that's weightlifting. Yeah, right. Love it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. It's great that you recognize though that it's not necessarily one thing. Like, your purpose is not weightlifting. It's weightlifting right now.
Yeah. Right now.
Right now.
Yeah. Right now.
That could change.
Could change tomorrow. Hope it doesn't, but it could.
And that's useful to know, because either eventually it's going to have to change, right? Like, life has a way, man, of, you know, when you find meaning in something, of taking it away from you. And so the question is, what do you do? Do you find something else, or do you sulk and become bitter and resentful? Like, yeah,
have the victim mindset, stuff like that, man. Like I could knock on wood, get in a car accident though, driving home on the way home from here, right? Could be paralyzed. Can't weightlift. Yeah. What do you do then, right? Yeah, I'd be bummed. Of course I would.
Yeah.
Probably sulk for a while, but then back on the horse, find something else.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's a great spot to end.
Yeah. Deep.
deep shit, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. Yeah, all the best, man. I know you got some more competitions and stuff coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to Sweden next week for a training camp.
Damn.
And then I actually made the Commonwealth Games team. So I'll be going to Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK, end of July.
Yeah.
And then this total I hit at Nationals last week is the Worlds total. So I've hit the total for Worlds, but haven't officially been announced the team.
Yeah.
That'll come way later in the year.
Yeah.
But I've hit the threshold, so I'm eligible to go. Yeah.
Good for you, man. Listen, I wish you all the best, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Love chatting with you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime, man.
Yeah, you bet.
I feel like we got a lot more to talk about, so
Yeah.
we'll have to get you back.
Totally.
All right, brother. Until next time.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.